San Antonio Spurs have an amazing come from behind win against the Utah Jazz, have all this momentum going into the game against the Indiana Pacers, and then we rest most of our starters. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Time for my recap and report card in an odd week last week for our Spurs as they beat the Lakers, who didn't have LBJ, Anthony Davis, and a few other guys. Then they lost against the Raptors, which some of you were happy about because the Raptors need to make the playoffs for the Spurs to get their draft pick. Then we have our biggest comeback of the season, our only win so far when trailing after the third quarter. The Spurs are now 1-34 as they beat the Utah Jazz. Two of our biggest comebacks are against the Jazz this week, or this year, should I say. And Greg Popovich sets the all-time wins record in that game against the Jazz. So all momentum on our side. We got this. We're making a push for the play-in, Spurs fans. And then last night against the Pacers, the old load management was activated, and Kelvin Johnson didn't play, Jonty Murray didn't play, Jacques Lindell didn't play, our top three scorers, and they lost to the Pacers. They're 1.5 games out of the play-in right now. And Spurs fans, I always ask you to drop a comment down below, but I'm really curious, what do you think our goal is? I don't think they're tanking, but I also don't think at this point we're really making a push to try to make the play-in. I think when the players are out there and playing, they're doing their best to win a game like we saw against the Jazz. But if we're going to have a back-to-back, or if somebody's just got a little ding, take the night off because, we lose, whatever. I kind of feel like that's the mentality. We want to win if you're playing. The guys that are out there, like last night, let's try to win. But if we don't win, okay, all good. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels really weird to see us have all this momentum and last night sit so many players. And it's very frustrating. As a fan, I want to see those guys play. If you went to the AT&T Center and watched the game in person, you wanted to see your favorite players play, and a lot of them were on the court. So I hate load management. And these are all young guys. This isn't a player that is pushing 40. These are guys that are all in their early to mid 20s, all in their prime. And I don't get why we're load management. I'm really confused on what's happening with this. And it really gives a vibe of a soft tank. And I hope that's not the case. Anyway, drop a comment down below. Anything else that you liked about last week? Anything that you didn't like? Hit that thumbs up if you like, support the channel, and subscribe for more Spurs content. Let's get into my report card. It's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Starting off with NBA All-Star Jonty Murray. I thought this was another good week for Jonty Murray. Did his usual thing, 26 points per game, 9 boards, 8 assists, 3.3 steals, still leading the league in steals per game, but took over the fourth quarter versus the Jazz. I believe he scored 15 points in that quarter and really helped carry the Spurs to a win. And he's really showed us that he can be a scorer. He's absolutely lethal with that mid-range jumper. The only really flaw in DeJounte's game is sometimes he has a little trouble getting out of traps. And when he's bringing the ball up the court, he had 4 turnovers per game last week. And his three-point shooting does leave a lot to be desired. So maybe start firing off less threes. Although the weird thing is he'll miss a bunch of threes and then just launch a quick center line shot and make it. He's been a little up and down with three-point shooting, but still, I love what I'm seeing out of him. So he's just developed so much this year, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. Excuse me. He should be mentioned in most improved player, if not maybe win it. I don't know what other players are doing around the league, but the way we've seen his game change, not just statistically speaking, but as a leader on the court, as taking charge of being that guy. I wasn't sure he could be that guy at the end of the game, but he's been that guy, and I'm so proud of him. I can't say enough about Jonty Murray this year. Really impressed me. Up next, Devin Vassell. This is a good week for Devin, and this is kind of what I've been seeing since he's become a starter. He's showing us the ability to create shots, finishing at the rim, and finishing strong with the thunder dunks of justice, playing some D, getting some steals, causing turnovers, been a decent rebounder, but his shooting, the shots just aren't going in. 39% from the field, 33% from the arc, and a charity stripe, 67%. So whatever reason, Devin Vassell, the shots aren't going in. Wow, I'm sniffly today. I muted at that time. My apologies, but it is what it is. Up next, my favorite player, Kelvin Johnson. Overall, I thought this is a borderline good-bad week, but I'm going to lean towards good. Yes, his three-point shooting was down quite a bit this week. Maybe he was taking one too many threes here and there, but overall, his shot selection inside the arc was good, and he was showing, much like Devin, his ability to create his own shots. I feel like every week we're seeing a little something added to Kelvin Johnson's game in his ability to get short jumpers and mid-range jumpers off. And of course, the energy. I love the energy he always brings out there, and it's infectious, and the team, I'm sure, feeds off it. Doug McDermott. I thought this is actually kind of a bad week for Doug. Obviously, the big thing with Dougie is he rolled his ankle last night. I don't know how long he's going to be out, maybe a game or two. And Doug has struggled with injuries throughout this year, just little things here and there that just can't seem to go away. That's been unfortunate. He did his thing scoring wise and shot fairly well from the field. My big issue with Doug McDermott is he is right now considered our starting power forward. Last week, he played 54 minutes. That is not a typo. He had 0 rebounds in 54 minutes on the court. You think you'd just be standing there like, whoop, I got a rebound. We are getting killed on the boards on a nightly basis, giving other teams second chance opportunity, sometimes third chance, sometimes a ridiculous fourth chance opportunity. If this is our starting power forward grabbing 0 donut rebounds, you are not going to win games like that. This is supposed to be your second best rebounder on the team, that position. And no, and that's why I keep saying, as much as I like Doug, he's not going to be our starting for the future. We need somebody that can grab boards, a stretch four. A defensive minded stretch four would be ideal. A guy that can defend, guy that can score in and outside of the, inside the arc, outside the arc. But we just need another rebounder. We need a big out there. And to Pop's credit, he's been experimenting with rotations a bit last week, where we had Twin Towers light. We had Zach Collins and Jacques Lindell on the court at the same time. We had Jakob Pertl and Landell. Maybe I know there was just a mix. We had little parts here and there where we had two big guys on the court. And maybe moving forward, if Doug's going to be out, Pop will start two bigs. Maybe have Jacques Lindell play at the four. He did play at the four a little bit last week and did fairly well offensively. We'll circle back to that in just a moment. So it'll be interesting to see what the Spurs doing moving forward. But we can't have a player grab 0 rebounds at the four spot. That's just not acceptable in my opinion. Maybe I'm being too hard on him. Come on, man. Come on. Turtle power, Jakob Pertl. His usual good, solid Jakob week, rebounding, playing some D, scoring, hitting some free throws too. My biggest issue with Jakob this week was I felt some of that soft play in the paint came back and became very frustrating to watch with those little Ole shots where he gets the ball, he's got a chance for a dunk, and I know, everybody's like, it's not all about dunking. It's not, but it's the highest percentage shot in the NBA, is it not? You saw the Pacers dunk on us 10 times last night. There's a reason. It's because the ball usually goes in. And he's just there. And Olay is like, man, just go up and throw it down. I know you're not Shaquille O'Neal, but I know you can dunk and throw it down. And not only that, there was a play, I think, against the Jazz. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just infuriated me where Jakob got on an offensive board, fell into his hands. He's like 2 feet from the rim, maybe 8 foot from the rim, and immediately passes it out. Was very passive in that situation. When you're a big man and you're that close to the rim and you grab a board, your first instinct should be to just go up and throw that thing down, or at least put the ball back up and score. Whatever it is, your instinct should be to score right there when you're that close to the rim. And his instinct was get that ball the hell out of the paint and get it to somebody else. And that type of little things like that just make me go, you had a chance to score. You were open. Nobody was around you. You had a good chance to throw that thing back up, and instead you deferred and passed out. And you got to have that mentality. Sometimes just when you're that close to the rim, I think attack and score, and it wasn't there. So maybe I'm being critical, but just something I picked up last week that drove me batty. Lonnie Walker. I know somebody might look at his shooting percentage and say, hey, he only shot 34% from the field. That's a bad week. But I'm just going to say this is a good week for Lonnie. I like the fact that he's being aggressive, taking shots. I'd rather have Lonnie shoot 4 of 10 from the field, maybe even 3 of 10 from the field, than have him go out there and take two to 3 shots and just be extremely passive the whole night. We need Lonnie to be aggressive. It was a rough week. The shots weren't going in, but keep attacking the rim, keep firing off. He's going to be streaky. And in this case, like last week, I'd rather have him be aggressive and keep shooting than be passive and not show any confidence, if you will. So hopefully this week's a better week for him. Trey Jones. Wow, what a weird week last week for Trey Jones. I love the hustle. I love the fact that he's the smallest guy in the court. Is grabbing 4.5 rebounds a game. That really attests to just desire to get in there and play. It's causing turnovers. But man, shooting wise, this is why he's getting a good and bad week. Is he was abysmal shooting. We already know he can't shoot the three. 0% from the arc, fine, whatever. He's not taking many threes. Only 37% from the field, and all of a sudden, he is now Jakob Pertl. He shot 29% from the line. He was like a 90% free throw shooter up until a few weeks ago, but lately he seems to not be able to shoot his free throws. He was 2 of 7 from the charity stripe last week. I don't know what's going on with his free throw shooting, but it was not good at all. Up next, Zach Collins. Oh, this is a good week for Zach. We got to give him some time. I think, a lot of Spurs fans are a little disappointed with his play so far. I'll admit I expected more, but he was out of basketball for 2 years, coming off a few serious surgeries on his ankle. It's going to take time for him to, be the player that we think maybe he can be. We got to remember, not only did he miss all that time from basketball, he missed all the preseason. He probably wasn't playing in a lot of these practices, doing limited duties. I mean, he's way behind the schedule, so to speak, in this Spurs offense compared to the other guys that have been playing all year. So I want to be temper my expectations for right now. Overall, he shot well from the field, gave us 8 points per game off the bench, and I liked what I saw. It's just, this year's going to be you know, he's going to have a get out of jail free card for this year, and then next year will be the year that makes or breaks, I think, with Zach Collins. And I do realize that I forgot to switch this. I got Josh Primo here, but Josh Richardson's actually the player I want to talk about. So my apologies. Oops. I don't want to start over. So anyway, Josh Richardson. I thought overall this was a good week. Yeah, he struggled from the field at 39%. A lot of that's hurt by his absolute dud last night when he went 6 of 20 versus the Pacers. But he got some starts and, did good things defensively. It looks like he could be a very good role player. Do I want him as a starter moving forward if Doug is out? Probably not. I want somebody with more size out there if Pop decides to go in that direction. But I do like what I'm seeing from Josh Richardson, and he's been a good, definitely quality player coming off the bench first and as a spot starter. So keep up the good work. To the bench, Keita Bates Dia. One game, 8 minutes, minus 15 for his plus minus. Just, I don't get what KBD, sometimes he shows us these brilliant games and then disappears for weeks on end and was barely part of the team last week. Anyway, moving on. Jacques Lindell. I said we circle back to Lindell. Played 4 games. He played every game last week, averaged 15 minutes a game. But last night is a game that you really need to focus on as he went off against the Pacers. A career high 26. Would you possibly want Jacques Lindell to start next week if Doug McDermott's out? Try something different and start Jacques Lindell at the 4. Give us some size. He can shoot the 3 too, just like Doug can. He definitely can finish in the paint as he shot 74% from the field last week. So I think that might be a way to go. Just get, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But we need some size. We clearly need size on the floor. I know a lot of you disagree. I've seen in the comments, this isn't a big man's league anymore. Well, tell that to the Spurs fans that are watching the team give up so many offensive rebounds on a nightly basis. Up next, Joshua Primo. Wow. I like what I see what he's doing, moving around with and without the ball. And defensively, a lot of things that he's doing. But shot-wise, man, he has hit a brick wall when it comes to getting the ball in the rim. He played 2 games, about 27 minutes per game, I believe, last week, and shot only 21% from the field, 10% from the arc. Yeah, he has hit the rookie wall. Devontae Cacok didn't play 1 minute. Apparently out with a heel injury. I don't know what's going on with him, but nothing. Joe Wieskamp, played 10 minutes last week and really has no statistics to speak of. He just literally ran laps. He took 1 field goal attempt. That's it. No rebounds, no assists, no steals, no turnovers, nothing. He just ran laps. Great. And last but not least, another frustrating San Antonio Spur, Romeo Langford. Frustrating because he played 1 game last week. I believe it was against the Lakers. Played 16 minutes and looked good. Looked pretty good, like what I saw offensively, defensively, moving up and down the court, scored 7 points. He struggled from the line. He was like 1 of 4. He's rocked a plus 13 in those 16 minutes, so he was contributing when he was out there, and now he's out with the hammy. The whole thing with Romeo Langford is he just missed a ton of time with the Celtics, was always hurt, comes to the Spurs, was hurt, plays 1 game, and now he's out again. Frustrating. Spur of the week, should be no surprise. Man, I can't say enough. Just I suppose you could say Greg Popovich should be the Spur of the week, but the Spur of the week is players, not coaches. If it was coaches, obviously Greg Popovich would get it every week. So for some of you out there, my co-Spur of the week is Greg Popovich. Obviously, getting that win record was huge and should be part of the Player of the Week. But for on the court performance, not coaching, it's obviously the Jonty Murray. Just had another great week. And he has proven me wrong. I didn't think he could be a guy that could average over 20 points per game. And his scoring keeps going up on a weekly basis. He could finish the season at 21 or 22, which is much higher than I thought his ceiling was. And could his ceiling go up even more? If he could get that 3-point shooting from where he's right around 31% for the year, if he could become just an okay 3-point shooter, 36%, 37%, he could be a guy that averages 23, 24 points per game. He just, we need another scorer out there with him. Or do we? I don't know. Maybe we just need another big guy. Anyway, coming up next, we got the Timberwolves, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Pelicans. No back-to-back, so every guy should play. And if somebody's load managing next week, I'm definitely going to be raising an eyebrow and making a video about it because I don't want to see any more load manager for the rest of the season, except for maybe that one last back-to-back I think we have. This is a very winnable week, so to speak. And by that I mean we could have a winning record. I could definitely see the Spurs going 2-1. OKC probably should be a win. Pelicans gonna be a tough game. Could be a win. Timberwolves gonna be a tough game. Maybe probably a loss, but they'll probably change things up and mess us all up. Beat the Wolves and then lose to OKC, and then whatever against the Pelicans, right? Isn't that kind of the Spurs type of year? We'll beat the good team, and they'll go out against the team we should be and put up a dud. That's just kind of the way it is. That's life as a Spurs fan this year and the last few years. If you stayed this long, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. It was fun talking about this week. It was a great week last week, but I want to close with, again, why are we resting so many guys? What is the end game? Was it to get Pop the record, and now just whatever happens, happens. Make sure we finish in the top 10. Don't care about making the plan. Because I know guys like you watch Jonty Murray and other players, you can tell they want to win out there. They're giving it all. I don't know. I don't know what our direction is. The load management thing has definitely got me confused as a Spurs fan right now, especially when you're this close to the plan, have a very winnable game against the Pacers, and you rest all your guys. That's all I got. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, and as always, go Spurs, go!